Hey guys, we're just testing volume. If you could give me a thumbs up if you can hear us. Or
there you go.
Awesome.
Okay, good.
Yay. I like this thumbs up stuff. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause and we'll get started in just a few moments. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. Welcome to the Collaborate session. I am Kristen Harrison. I'm the Distance Learning Administrator at Caldwell Community College. We also have...
I'm Stacy Reagan. I am the new instructional designer here as well as a math instructor.
Okay. So to get started, I'm going to go over the configuration on how to do that in Moodle, and then I'm going to turn it over to Stacy because Stacy has actually used Collaborate in her Moodle math class. So I feel like having a user that's used it in Moodle, and she can tell you all the best practices, things to look for. She's the more experienced with using it in a classroom setting. So to get started, you're going to log into your Moodle site as the Moodle administrator. You will go to Site Administration, Plugins, Activity, Modules, and then Manage Activities. Next, you're going to look for the Collaborate and click Settings. Next, you're going to enter your REST server URL, the key, and the secret, and click Save Changes. Once you've done that, your Collaborate will be set up to use within your Moodle classes. Now, to get this information, if Blackboard has not emailed you that information, just put a ticket in, and Anita and her team will quickly get that information over to you. So before we move on, does anyone have any questions about that? You can go ahead and put that in the chat. If you understand it, and just give me a thumbs up. Okay, awesome. So now I'm going to turn it over to Stacy, and she will be able to tell you about how she uses this in her math classes.
Okay. The first thing that you guys need to know and that you need to make sure you tell all the faculty is that this only works well in Google Chrome. And I know that we've told faculty members for several years to be using Mozilla for Moodle, but we need to make sure that when we are presenting a Collaborate session, we use Chrome. The students do not have to use Chrome, so we don't have to worry about them using the wrong browser, but we have to use Chrome if we're presenting. You also have to have a screen share, desktop sharing extension. So before you do a Collaborate session, even if you just start setting it up or anything like that, it's going to tell you that you need to have this screen desktop sharing extension before you can share any screens or anything like that. So you will have to go to the Google store, and if you've never done that before, there's a little, it looks like it's a square with several little squares in it, and it's got several colors on it, and it just says apps, and you just click on that and it will take you to the Google store, and then you just search for the desktop sharing extension and click on add to Chrome, and then you don't have to do anything else with it. It just needs to be a part of your Chrome extension. If you do a session on another computer, you will have to add it every time you do that. So you need to make sure that that's a part of whatever computer you happen to be using. You will also have to have, just to make sure you guys are in the technical aspects, you will have to have either a computer that has a good microphone on it. Right now we happen to be using a Surface Pro. It has a really good microphone. You don't even need to have a headset or anything like that to use the Surface Pro. If you want to enable the camera, of course you would need to have a camera on it. The Surface Pro, if you do not use Chrome, you will only see the rear-facing camera. So that's one of the issues that Collaborate has identified and let us know that that's one of the reasons that we want to make sure that we use Chrome. So you want to make sure that you are using Chrome for that. If you don't have a microphone, you will need to have a headset in your computer. So, you know, a USB headset will be fine. Just make sure it has a microphone. And if you want to use the camera, you will need to have a portable webcam to be able to do that. So you need to make sure that you have the technology. Did you have something you wanted to add, Kristen?
Also, a webcam with a built-in mic will also work as well.
Okay. So you need to make sure that you have all the things that you need. On the student end, now they would not necessarily have to have that. Kristen's got the microphones turned off for you guys, so you're using the chat box, and the student could do that as well. They could use the chat box. I am trying Collaborate out in my trig class. I've made it optional for them, and I have enabled my microphone for them. I've enabled my whiteboard for them, all those things, because I want us to be able to work problems and things together. So I want them to be able to talk to me. So if they have microphones, I've actually allowed that for them. Does anybody have a question so far? Okay, I'm going to move on. And if you do have a question, just at the bottom of your screen, you will see the little hand that you can raise, and we'll take a look at it and make sure that we're answering questions as we go. Okay, so if you want to add a session, you're going to add a session just like you would any other activity in Moodle. You're going to click on Add an Activity, and then you'll see the Collaborate there. A couple things that I want to make you guys aware of is that the default setting is an hour. If you want your students to be able to leave the room and come back, you need to probably set it longer than that, because if you happen to go over, they will not be able to get back into that room. So there is a setting that says duration of the course. You could set it for that. You could set it a little longer if you think you're going to go over. But just be aware that if your session goes over and a student tries to get back in that session, they can't if you've set it for the hour. When you join the session as an instructor on a computer or a student on a computer, they will join that session from a browser. So they would need to click on from a browser to add that. If they are trying to join from their phone, this is, you know, I don't know about you guys, but most of the students on our campus online classes, they seem to think they can do everything on their phone. So there is a way that they can join these sessions from their phone. They will need the Collaborate app, which is the one on the left that is purple. If they go to their iPhone store, their app store, either on an Android or on the iPhone, they just need to search for Collaborate, and it's there. They also need to have the Blackboard app, which is the pencil. They won't be using the Blackboard app to do anything, but that Blackboard app has to be installed on their phone as well, so that when they click on enter a session, they will click on enter through the Blackboard app. So they're still in Collaborate. They're not having to open the Blackboard app, none of that stuff, but it does have to be installed on the phone if they want to use this this software from their phone, because a phone doesn't have flash on it, so they can't enter through a browser. They'll get an error message if they try to do that. Do you guys have any questions at all about that so far? About actually how to enter the session? You guys are pretty quiet then. Okay, I'm going to show you then some of the sharing features, so just kind of bear with me as I go into those things. Just so you know, the sharing sessions, when you enter this from the presenter mode, the sharing is along the bottom of your screen. There is one for the little chat bubble that you can click on and you can see the chat. There is one that you can click on and you can see all the attendees. There is one that you can click on that has access to your whiteboard, sharing documents, and those type things. And then one for settings, and that's where you would tell the software whether or not you wanted people to be able to use their microphone and the whiteboard and those type things. So I'm just going to pull up a couple of things one at a time so that you guys can see them. So I'm going to stop sharing the PowerPoint. And the way you stop sharing something is there is a record button in the right-hand corner of the screen, and you just click on it to stop the sharing. So I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to go down to my Share Content button, and I'm going to share a whiteboard with you just so you see what it looks like. So this is the basic whiteboard that they have in Collaborate. It has tools across the top. I tend to use the pencil a lot because I'm doing trig, and it has, with the Surface Pro, it has really good control. You can see that I'm writing my name on it. It's a really good tool for that. It has different colors, has an eraser, has a place that you can put text in there, all that kind of stuff that you can use with the whiteboard. So the whiteboard's a really good feature. I'm going to skip the part that says share the application screen first, and I'm going to go down to where it says share files. When you share files, you do have some limitations. You can only share PowerPoints or PDFs. So you cannot share Word documents by putting the file in the software. I'm going to show you how you can share Word documents. You just can't share them by preloading files in here. So that's how we showed you our PowerPoint. There's a button on there that says Add Files, and you just add any file that you want to, but it must be a PowerPoint or a PDF in order to do that. The other thing that we have in here is called polling. Polling's really good for, I would say, for maybe humanities courses, that type thing. It's not going to have a place for you to actually put a question because you're talking to them. But it will have a place where you can add yes or no choices, or 2 choices up to 5 choices. So I'm going to add a poll. I'm going to share it with you so you can see what it looks like. And you just click on the yes or no. So I'm going to say, do you like pizza? And so if you click on the yes, it's going to tell me how many people like pizza. And if you click on the no, it's going to tell me how many people do not like pizza. So that's a really good feature for people who are doing things where they might want to ask some questions and count it. It's anonymous. It does not show their names. So students don't have to be afraid that everybody's going to see their answer on there. So do you guys have any questions about the polling part of it? Did you have something you want to add? No? Okay. I'm going to stop sharing that one. Another great feature with this one, and I don't use this a lot, but I can see where it would have a great application in some courses. You know, like I said, I'm math, so I'm going to be using this whiteboard quite a bit. Can you share the results of the poll? Ooh, I just clicked out of it. Let's see if I can. Can I go back to it? I think I could have, because it says on the bottom show, but I X'd out of it before I did that. So I'm sorry about that. I should have done that with you. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's see. Breakout groups is another thing that you can do in this. And I can, if you click on the breakout groups, I can randomly assign groups. Or I can put people in the group. So I can go through and I can click on shuffle attendees, and it will put the people in different groups. It's got Kristen Harrison in the main room for the group. I can assign you guys, let's see, I'm going to put 2 groups, and I'm going to start it. So you should see on your screen that it's starting the breakout groups. Kristen, who, since she's logged in, is in the main group. You guys are divided into different groups. So we can move to other groups one at a time. However, be aware the recording will cut off when you go to a group. So we're not going to demonstrate that here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the part that I skipped, which was share an application or a screen. That's on your right-hand side. And what's going to happen is there's a little bit of an issue, and this is where I was telling you, you need to make sure that you use Chrome. There's going to be a tunneling effect, but they have tried to fix the issue, and they've succeeded as long as you go past the tunnel when you see it. So you're going to see that for just a minute, and then if you minimize your screen that has the tunnel on it, you'll be able to share your screen. So I'm going to hit Share Application Screen, Entire Screen, and it's going to give you a choice of the screen that you want to share. So if you have double monitors, you would need to select the one you want to share, and then you will hit Share. And this is where you'll see the tunnel effect. And you need to warn your students of this ahead of time. But you'll see the tunnel effect, just minimize out of it. And then you will be able to see whatever screen you want your students to see. And you can see I have lots of things open on my screen. But there's my screen. This is the way that you would be able to share a Word document. So you cannot share a Word document inside the Share documents. Remember, it has to be a PowerPoint or a PDF. But you can share a Word document or any other kind of document if you do the Share Screen feature. So let's go back to that. Go back to my screen here. So there's that one. Let's see. So that's the share screen. That's the share file. We've done the polling. We've done the breakout group. Someone asked about whether or not you could see the results of the poll. When I put the poll up there at the bottom, it has show responses or hide responses. If you click on show responses, the students will be able to see that. So you can do that. So let's see, Kristen, I think I'm going to turn it back over to you. I think I've shown everything that we need to show. We'll go back to our document there so you guys can see what we're talking about.
Sorry, just trying to get it.
While she's doing that, I want to make sure there was a question in the chat box about accessibility. So we want to talk about record a screen and talk about that accessibility. Recording capabilities on the left-hand side of your screen. You can click on that, and let's see, I can do that for you. I can log into Moodle and show you what it looks like. First of all, let me share my screen with you so you can see it. So let's go back to share a screen. And I'm going to log into my account in Moodle. I'm going to show you what the recording actually looks like. So if I minimize past it, and let's see, I'll go into Moodle right here. And here's a session that I'm in. You should be able to see that on your screen. Over on the left-hand side, you will see the start recording. That's where you start recording. That's also where you leave the session. Be aware, like I was saying a minute ago, if you go over to where the polling or the breakout groups are and you're recording, it will turn the recording off. So you want to make sure that you do not do that, unless you want to have to put two videos together later and get your recording in there. There was a question that popped up on the chat about captioning. It does have a captioning feature, but remember, like I was saying before, it is to assign a captioner. So it does not caption while you're doing the videos. You would need to export that video, and when you're finished, the videos show up over here under where you join the session, so you can get your recordings. You can download them as long as you've set it to do that. When you set up the session, you need to make sure you set up the download the videos so you can do that, and then you could put them in YouTube, like YouTube do your captioning and your editing. I think that's all. Let's see, was there anything else we wanted to talk about, Kristen? Let's go back to our session room. recording still turned on. So we'll go back to our file we have with you. Okay.
We are going to put our contact information. So if you have any questions that later on, feel free to contact us. I'm Kristen Harrison. You can reach me at kharrison@cccti.edu.
Stacy Reagan at sreagan@cccti.edu.
And that's it. We are very excited to be able to help y'all today and present this session.
Thanks, guys.